My sister stole my fiancé, then forced me to sit in the front row at their wedding. But when the officiant asked, "Does anyone object?" I stood up with evidence that would destroy both their lives forever. The rain had a strange way of shaping the night, soft at first, like a hesitant whisper, then steadily louder until it became a wall of sound pressing against Vaela Drax's ears. She stood beneath the orange glow of the street lamp, umbrella trembling in her hand, staring through the restaurant's sleek glass windows. Her breath hitched. Her fiancé, Draven Hale, the man who once pressed promises against her skin and built futures with his words, was sitting across from her sister, Lyra. Not just sitting. Leaning forward. His fingers stroked Lyra's jaw as if she were fragile, precious, adored, the way he used to hold Vaela. Then the moment happened. Their lips met. A kiss so intimate, so clearly practiced, Vaela knew it wasn't a first. It had history. It had hunger. It had betrayal written in the curve of their smiles. The air left her lungs in a violent rush. For a second, she forgot how to breathe at all. The umbrella slipped from her hand, rolling across the wet pavement. She didn't chase it. Her body felt detached, cold fingertips, numb face, trembling knees, yet every nerve burned with the force of betrayal. Inside the restaurant, Lyra pulled away first, smiling that familiar, wicked smile, the one that always meant she had won something. Draven brushed his thumb along her cheek. Vaela felt it like a slap. Her heart didn't break. It fractured, shattered like glass. Silently, sharply, pieces fell inside her chest, slicing through the last remnants of innocence she had carried. But beneath the pain, something else emerged. Not tears, not desperation. A cold, lethal clarity. One that would later become the weapon she wielded. Vaela Drax was born with beauty that demanded attention. She walked into rooms like she owned them, smiled like she knew secrets no one else did, and burned every bridge she crossed, all without ever looking back. And Vaela? Vaela was the quiet one. Steady. Warm. The kind of women who held families together while others tore them apart. Growing up, Vaela believed Lyra's cruelty was simple sibling jealousy. A phase. Something she'd outgrow. But Lyra never outgrew anything. She only sharpened. At 15, Lyra flirted with Vaela's crush. At 17, she stole Vaela's prom date the night before the dance. At 22, she showed up wearing white to Vaela's engagement party. And every single time, Vaela forgave her. Family is everything, her mother always said. Let it go, her father insisted. She's your sister. But family doesn't got you. The family doesn't smile while stabbing your back. Lyra did. And Draven was her latest prize. The rain intensified, blurring the glass. Vaela raised a hand, wiping her tears, but realized she wasn't crying. Her eyes burned dry. Inside the restaurant, Draven reached into his coat pocket. Vaela's stomach caved. He pulled out a small velvet box, the kind Vaela once dreamed of, the kind she thought held her future. He opened it. A diamond sparkled under the soft restaurant lighting. Lyra gasped, covered her mouth dramatically, and nodded as if she'd been waiting her entire life. Draven slipped the ring onto her finger. The world went silent. Rain muted. Cars muted. Breath muted. Vaela's hand pressed flat against the cold glass. Her nails scraped it lightly, as if touching the barrier between her old life and the one she was being forced into. Her throat constricted until her heart felt bruised. Draven kissed Lyra's forehead. Lyra burst into tears, fake, picturesque tears, while people in the restaurant clapped. Vaela staggered away, her heels slipping on the wet pavement. She didn't notice the umbrella being swept by the wind. She didn't notice the cold soaking through her clothes. All she noticed was the absence of oxygen, the absence of love, the absence of truth. She walked blindly into the night, feeling the old version of herself, gentle, trusting, hopeful, die slowly with each step. The days afterward passed like ghosts, hollow, silent, drifting around her as she moved through her apartment in numb disarray. Draven didn't call. Lyra didn't explain. No one checked in. She went to work mechanically, smiled when needed, responded to messages with autopilot politeness. But inside, her world felt muted, like all her emotions had been wrapped in thick cotton. Then came the seventh day. And with it, the message. Her phone vibrated once while she was washing dishes. Lyra, you're invited to our wedding. Hope you can make it. It would mean a lot. Vaela froze. Her hand tightened on the dish towel until her knuckles paled. There was an attached digital card, custom gold borders, soft floral details, elegant calligraphy. The type people spent money on. You are cordially invited to the union of Dravenhael and Vaela Drax. Vaela swallowed, while burning her throat. Then Lyra sent another message, dripping venom disguised as concern. Lyra, please don't be dramatic about this. We didn't choose to fall in love. It just happened. Try to be happy for us. And please dress nicely. Don't embarrass me. Something in Vaela splintered beyond repair. The last thread holding her together snapped. Her pulse steadied, not with grief, but with purpose. With clarity sharper than knives. She would attend. She would smile. She would celebrate. And she would bring their entire world crashing down around them. When Vaela finally looked at herself in the mirror that night, she didn't recognize the woman staring back. Her reflection's eyes were darker, deeper, carved from pain and reborn in fire. You wanted a show, Lyra, she whispered. I'll give you one. Revenge wasn't a rash emotion. Revenge was architecture. And Vaela's father always said, she inherited a mind that could build or destroy anything. So she began building her masterpiece. The first thing Vaela needed was truth. Not the emotional truth, she already had that. She needed the kind of truth that destroyed reputations, careers, relationships. She started with Draven's office. She still had access to his email. They had shared accounts for event planning and bills. He'd forgotten to remove her access. Amateur mistake. Within hours, she found suspicious bank transfers, hidden accounts under Lyra's maiden name, invoices edited after submission, private client correspondences, deleted email threads recovered from cloud backups. Every piece told the same story. Draven was siphoning money from clients. Lyra was helping him launder it. And they were planning to run the scheme together. Vaela's jaw clenched with satisfaction. They weren't just morally bankrupt. They were legally doomed. She copied everything into a master file, labeled it, The Price of Betrayal. But Vaela didn't stop there. Lyra was addicted to posting covertly luxurious things without explanation, bracelets worth thousands, shoes above her salary's reach, dinners at places Draven used to take Vaela only on anniversaries. Screenshots. Archived stories. Deleted comments. Vaela collected them all like precious stones. Each one was a nail in their coffin. 2 days before the wedding, Vaela received a message from an unknown number. Unknown. You don't know me, but I know what Draven and Lyra did to you. Meet me. It's about the wedding. Vaela read it twice. Then again. She wasn't reckless. She didn't respond. Instead, she traced the number using a simple online tool. It belonged to Caspian Voss, one of Draven's co-workers, a tall, quiet man known for his intelligence and calm. He had always seemed distant but observant. Vaela finally replied. Vaela. Meet where? Caspian. The old cafe near the river. Midnight. Come alone. Vaela. If this is a setup, Caspian, it's not. I want justice. Justice. No pity. Not sympathy. Justice. Vaela showed up. Caspian was already there, standing under the dim patio light, his dark hair glistening with mist, hands tucked into his coat pockets. His eyes softened when he saw her. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I knew something was happening behind your back, but I didn't know it was this. Vaela kept her expression cold. Why contact me? Because Draven tried to drag me into a scheme. I refused. And now they need to be stopped. Vaela studied with him. His jaw was tight. His voice is steady. His gaze was unwavering. He wasn't lying. Caspian leaned forward. I'll help you. Not because I want revenge, but because you deserve better. His certainty shook her more than Draven's betrayal. For the first time in weeks, Vaela felt warmth, small, cautious, but real. A spark. She extinguished it quickly. Revenge first. Everything else later. They spent hours sharing information, constructing a timeline of Draven and Lyra's crimes. By the time they parted ways, they had built a plan so airtight, not even desperation could save Draven. Vaela stood in her bedroom, the city lights flickering through her windows like silent spectators. Her dress lay on the bed, deep black satin, elegant, sculpted, commanding respect without asking. She ran her hand across the fabric. Lyra wanted her to dress nicely. Fine. She would dress like a storm. Vaela applied makeup slower than usual, each motion measured and deliberate. Foundation, eyeliner, shadow that made her eyes look bottomless and unreadable. Her lipstick was the last step. Blood red. She stared at her reflection. The woman staring back was no longer a victim. No longer soft. No longer breakable. Vaela whispered, "Tomorrow is your funeral." She slipped the flash drive into her purse. Then another. And a backup. And one more. Insurance. The wedding would not end the way Lyra imagined. It would end the way Vaela designed. Sunlight sliced across the sky like a blade the morning of Lyra and Draven's wedding. It shouldn't have been beautiful, but it was. Radiant, warm, golden. A perfect day for lies. Vaela stood before her mirror, slipping her arms through the straps of her black satin dress. It hugged her curves with lethal elegance, the kind of dress that spoke before she even opened her mouth. Her hair cascaded in soft waves, pinned with silver accents that glittered like pieces of broken stars. She looked like a woman carved from vengeance. She looked perfect. Her phone buzzed. A single message from Caspian. "I'll be there. Standing by the left entrance. If anything feels off, look at me." She didn't reply. Couldn't. Her throat tightened. Caspian had been steady through everything, careful, patient, sharp. He was the quiet fire behind her plan. But today, she couldn't afford distraction. She grabbed her clutch. Inside were 3 flash drives, her phone, and a single folded letter addressed to Lyra. She didn't intend to use all 3 drives. Just one. But revenge required backups. Always. The venue was a sprawling, luxurious estate. White marble floors, tall glass doors that stretched toward a crystalline chandelier hanging like a frozen waterfall. Guests in pastel gowns and tailored suits moved through the hall, sipping champagne and speaking about true love and destiny. Vaela almost laughed. She walked through the crowd, each step echoing on the polished floor. Heads turned. Conversations paused. Women stared in envy. Men stared in awe. She was not the sister anyone expected to see today. She wasn't broken. She wasn't hiding. She wasn't fragile. She was the storm about to swallow the sun. Caspian Voss stood near the entrance, dressed in a charcoal gray suit that fit him too damn well. His hair was slicked back, his jaw clean-shaven, his eyes dark and unwavering. When he saw Vaela, something changed in his expression, something like awe mixed with burning fury on her behalf. He approached slowly, cautiously, like he didn't want to break the moment. "You look," he paused, "like justice." Vaela let a small, dangerous smile curl her lips. "Today," she said softly, "justice arrives wearing heels." His lips quirked. "Ready for a heartbeat," she faltered. Not out of fear. Because of him. His presence grounded her, strengthened her, warned her. "You can still walk away," Caspian said gently. "You don't have to do this alone." She stepped closer, her voice a whisper. "I've never been less alone." It was true, and that was what scared her most. Music floated across the venue, soft, angelic, deceitful. Guests took their seats. Vaela sat in the 5th row on the aisle, where Lyra specifically placed her so she'd have a perfect view of the ceremony. A perfect view of betrayal. The officiant stepped forward. Then came Draven, in a white tux. Confidence radiated off him like cologne. He smiled at the crowd, his gaze lingering arrogantly on Vaela. She felt nothing. Not hate, not longing, not sadness. Just emptiness carved by betrayal. Caspian lingered along the side of the hall, eyes trained on Vaela, steady and protective. Then the music changed. The doors opened. Lyra walked in, radiant in a gown dripping with crystals and vanity. She looked breathtaking. She looked poisonous. Guests gasped, admiring her beauty. But the moment Lyra saw Vaela, her smile widened, not with warmth, but with triumph. She wanted Vaela broken, watching, hurting. But Vaela sat straight, unbothered, her chin slightly raised. Lyra's smile faltered. Good. Draven read from a card. I never believed in fate until I met you, Lyra. You taught me love. Vaela almost laughed. Caspian's jaw tensed. Lyra's voice dripped with fake innocence. Draven, you are my heart, my soulmate. The officiant nodded. And if anyone has reason why these two should not be joined in matrimony, speak now. The hall held its breath. Stilled. Frozen. Now. Now was Vaela's moment. Everyone turned, anticipating silence. Vaela rose. Slowly. Purposefully. Her heels echoed like gunshots. Lyra's smile collapsed. Draven paled. Vaela stepped into the aisle. I object. Gasps erupted. Cameras lifted. Murmurs spread like wildfire. The officiant stuttered. Draven clenched his fists. Lyra's eyes narrowed to poison slits. Vaela reached into her clutch. Her voice was calm. If you marry him, Lyra, you're entering a partnership built on theft, lies, and fraud. Lyra hissed, sit down, Vaela. Vaela ignored her. She pulled out the flash drive. This contains every transaction, every incriminating message, every illegal transfer Draven made in your name. Guests whispered violently. What? What are you talking about? Draven sputtered. This is insane. Vaela tilted her head. You really should have deleted your cloud backups. And Lyra, maybe you shouldn't post $1,000 jewelry when you're unemployed. Lyra's face contorted. Stop. Why? Vaela asked softly. Isn't this what you wanted? For me to watch. Her voice sharpened. I'm watching. And I'm speaking. She handed the flash drive to the officiant. To be safe, she added, 3 more copies have already been emailed to authorities. The hall erupted. Women stood. Men cursed. Families moved away from Draven and Lyra like they carried plague. In the chaos, Lyra screamed. You ruined my day. Vaela stepped closer, her voice ice. You ruined my life. This is me returning the favor. Security entered. Authorities called. Draven tried to flee. Lyra clawed at him, shrieking. Cameras captured everything. The ceremony dissolved into screams and accusations. Only Vaela stood still, calm, composed, victorious. And through the chaos, Caspian approached her. You did it, he murmured. She exhaled slowly. For the first time in weeks, breathing didn't hurt. It's over, she said. But Caspian shook his head. No, he whispered. It's just beginning. Before leaving, Vaela placed an envelope on the podium, addressed to Lyra. Inside, one sentence. You always wanted to be the star. Enjoy the spotlight. Lyra and Draven were arrested within hours. Fraud. Embezzlement. Theft. Tax evasion. The news went viral. They blamed each other. They screamed at reporters. They insisted Vaela set them up. But the evidence was airtight. They had set themselves up. Vaela had simply lit the match. 3 months later, Vaela sat on a bench overlooking the river, her favorite spot. The evening breeze lifted her hair as the sun dipped below the water. Footsteps approached. Caspian. He sat beside her, hands in his pockets, eyes softer than she'd ever seen. How are you holding up? He asked. She exhaled. Free, she said. Finally free. He studied her face. You know, helping you wasn't just about justice. Her pulse quickened. He took her hand gently, carefully, like she might break, never realizing she was stronger now than ever before. I care about you, Vaela, more than I expected to. For the first time, Vaela didn't pull back. Her voice whispered like the river. I care about you too. He leaned closer. Not demanding. Not forcing. Just waiting. Vaela closed the distance. Their lips met in a slow, steady kiss, warm where Draven's had been cold, honest where Draven's had been hollow. This time, love didn't feel like danger. It felt like healing. When they finally pulled apart, Caspin smiled. Where do we go from here? Vaela looked at the horizon, gold, open, endless. Anywhere we want, she said. Then she took his hand and walked into a future she built herself. No more betrayal. No more lies. No more pain. Just strength, freedom, and a new beginning born from the ashes of the old.